The next panel is Charlotte Ann Casey, Rachel Simons, Elizabeth Ray, Darla Weaver, Joanna Labor, Nada Lulick. They will be followed by Ora Rami, Anna Ruth, Karen Miller, Diana Pyle, Christopher Keel, Pat Johnson. Charlotte Ann Casey. Charlotte Ann Casey had registered in favor of the bill wishing to provide oral testimony. We will change that to registering a position but not wishing to testify. Rachel Simons.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm Rachel Simons. I live in Austin, and I am here to represent myself against SB 1. No part of this bill is necessary. That should really say it all. Yet somehow it doesn't. This bill is, in all of its part, in complete defiance of my federal rights, which have already been guaranteed and assured. That fact should also be enough to defeat this bill. However, SB 1 is unfortunately worse than either of those statements. It presumes to tell women that they are unqualified to make their own decisions for their own lives and their bodies. Furthermore, SB 1 tragically puts the lives and the rights of not only women, but also those who support and depend on those women into very real and unnecessary danger. No part of this bill is actually about the rights or safety of women, except in that it aims to destroy those things. In fact, SB 1 is in flagrant defiance of both the law and legal precedents, as well as scientific facts and research. No significant medical group is calling for the guidance of any part of this bill. What could be more unnecessary than creating a problem here in the Senate of Texas that apparently does not exist in the clinics and hospitals of this state? As a young, uninsured woman, I rely on groups like Planned Parenthood to safeguard my current lifestyle as well as future uncertainties, a reliance which is in accordance with my rights as a U.S. citizen. It is also my right to use these services without unnecessary interference from the state government or from any religious group or entity. Therefore, I go on record today with the vehement assertion that this bill is an abomination in both fact and spirit against women, citizens of the United States, the federal and state governments, and lastly, without doubt, my own personal wishes or consent. Texas legislature, I am here now to speak for myself and my rights, and I will not be silenced now or ever, no matter how unnecessary the defense of these rights should be.
Thank you. Elizabeth Ray.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I'm Elizabeth Ray. I am strongly opposed to SB 1. I've heard a lot of women testify today that they had abortions in the past and that they suffered greatly as a result of that decision. And I am very, very sorry to hear that because my experience was completely different. I became pregnant at 19. And it was a hard decision, but I chose to have an abortion because it was my legal right over here, because it was my legal right to do so. To this day, I remain grateful that it was a choice. While it was a very hard decision, I don't regret it. The Supreme Court decided Roe v. Wade in '73. Each of you took an oath of office and swore or affirmed, I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. You did not swear to preserve, protect, and defend only the laws you like, or only the laws you think are right or moral, or only the laws you think that God thinks are right or moral. I expect you to keep your promise and to honor that oath. As former Justice Harry Blackmun wrote, abortion raises moral and spiritual questions over which honorable persons can disagree sincerely and profoundly. But those disagreements did not then and do not now relieve us of our duty to apply the Constitution faithfully. If I could choose a collective guiding statement, it would be, as Americans, we don't see the role of government as guaranteeing outcomes, but allowing free men and women to flourish based on their own vision, their hard work, and their personal responsibility. Imagine my surprise and delight when I realized the quote was from Governor Rick Perry.
Darla Weaver, we have done so well today, so far. So maybe some of you were not in the room when I made it very clear that we are not going to allow for any outbursts from the audience. Darla Weaver? Darla Weaver was registered wishing to provide oral testimony in favor of the bill. We are changing that to registering a position in favor of the bill. Joanna.
Joanna.
There you go, Joanna Labor. Go ahead.
Honorable Committee, thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. My name is Joanna Labor. I'm born and raised San Antonian, and my senator is Letitia Vanderpoot. And many years ago, it was you, Senator Zeffreen. I just want to say you're awesome. I represent myself, and I oppose SB 1. I oppose SB 1 and other bills like it because it would create a Texas that I do not want to live in. It frightens me that the majority of Texans who are against this bill are being ignored to instead force the beliefs of a very few on the entire state. This is ultimately about a fight about my body and my agency and the control people want to have over me. And it scares me to see so many people who are anxious to have control over me and my life. This Texas where I live in fear of wondering what right will be taken from me next is not the Texas I know and love. It's not the Texas that my boyfriend and I would want to marry and have children in. So please, I ask that you trust Texas women to make their own choices and vote against SB 1.
Thank you. Is Nadia Lulick here?
Nada Lulick.
Nada Lulick.
You got
it. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Nada Lulick, and I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm a constituent of Kirk Watson, Senator Kirk Watson. I'm here in opposition to SB 1. Sponsors claim the intent of this bill is to advance the safety and quality of women's health care. This bill is not about safe health care for Texas women. It is a backdoor attempt to deny safe access to abortion while closing clinics that provide basic preventative health care in addition to abortion in rural areas. If we want to ensure fewer abortions in Texas, let's apply resources and energy where it will matter. Age-appropriate sex education, information about contraception, and quality health care. This bill does none of that. I grew up in a small town, and I know what it's like to live in a rural community that is economically disadvantaged with poor access to health care. This bill will put disproportionate burden on the people who can least afford it and will put their health and safety in real jeopardy. If this bill passes, it's estimated that 37 clinics that currently provide this basic health care will close, and that only 5 facilities will remain in urban areas where women can access safe abortions. This bill sends the message to Texas women that to have safe, comprehensive health care, you have to live in a city or be able to take time off to work and to pay to travel and stay in a city. Women who live hundreds of miles from major urban areas will continue to have abortions, just not in the safe legal facilities currently in operation. This runs counter to the expressed intent sponsors of this bill claim. The content of this bill is not based on undisputed science or best practices. It is opposed by the Texas Medical Association, Texas Hospital Association, and the Texas chapter of the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Pro-choice or anti-choice, we can all agree that fewer abortions would be best. Please vote against SB 1 and work to ensure appropriate sex education, quality health care, and educational opportunities for women.
Thank you
Thank
to this
you.
entire panel. If you'll exit that way.